The Trump administration and Republicans say the Iran war is both a short excursion and a longer war, and it's pretty much complete, and it's also just beginning, and high oil prices are a sacrifice we have to make, but also oil prices are coming down, and also high oil prices are actually a good thing, and we already won, but we might have to stay for 4 days or 5 weeks or 6 months to open the Strait of Hormuz for oil tankers, because if it stays closed, oil prices that are coming down will go up, and we'll lose the war we've already won. Sure makes sense to me. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. A majority of Americans say the Trump administration has not clearly explained the goal of war with Iran. But that's frustrating to me because it just proves you haven't been listening. The Trump administration has been clear from the beginning that the goal of the war is stopping Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, or it's about regime change, or it's about freedom for the Iranian people, or it's about destroying their ballistic missile factories, or it's because Iran posed an imminent threat, or it's because Israel made us do it, or it's because this whole time Lindsey Graham has been a trickster god sent here to sow chaos by convincing Trump to go to war. That's right, everyone. I've been a Loki this whole time. And my Meemaw's a frost giant. That's the beauty of Trump's strategy. You get to choose, pick whatever reason you want. He's just a waiter walking around the party, offering hors d'oeuvres, except the hors d'oeuvres are crazy. Would you like a pig in a slanket? It tastes the same, but the sleeves make it look disconcerting. Same go for the timeline. Everyone's been harping on the man, asking him boring questions like, how long is this war going to take? I don't know. He's giving you a bunch of different options. Just pick one.
He told Axios this war could end in 2 to 3 days with a deal. Then he told the New York Times 4 to 5 weeks of fighting.
Politico now reports the State Department is thinking at least 100 days, maybe even through September.
So it could last 2 to 3 days, or it could last 4 to 5 weeks, or it could last until September. You sound like my doctor after I ate a bottle of knockoff Viagra. Could be a couple of hours, it could be a year, but on the bright side, you won't have to put down your groceries to open the door. So the president is letting you choose your own adventure when it comes to how long this war will take. But if you really want to be a stick in the mud and demand an answer, here you go.
Just moments ago, President Donald Trump told CBS this, quote, I think the war is very complete, pretty much.
Don't use very and then pretty much right after it, because they contradict each other. If your friend wanted to set you up on a date and you said, is he hot? And she said, very, you're excited. If she says, pretty much, you're gonna have some follow-ups. But there you have it. For you whiny crybabies demanding answers, the president said it, the war is very complete, which I assume means we'll be wrapping this baby up any day now.
What I want your viewers to understand is this is only just the beginning.
I will admit, it's not great that the guy who runs the Pentagon sounds like the Joker after he gets arrested. This is only just the beginning, Batman. All right, so there's a little confusion, a little crosstalk, some mixed messages. It happens in war. I'm sure the commander-in-chief can clear this up.
Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared
Well, I think
for
you could
this war
say
to
it
last?
both.
Both? So what, suddenly you're into Eastern philosophy? You know, the end is also the beginning. We exist in the space between nothing and everything. We are with and without. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a meeting with Walton Goggins. All right, so the war is both beginning and ending. Doesn't really add up. But don't worry, the president is a genius marketer, and he has a new word to describe the war that will put any questions about the timeline and the seriousness of the missions to rest.
We did an excursion. You know what an excursion is? We had to take a little trip to get rid of some evil, very evil people. So we had to take an excursion. Well, we're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done.
I mean, I think I know what happened here. Trump was calling it a war, which is very unpopular. So someone on his team told him to call it an incursion, but his brain is oatmeal. So he heard excursion and no one corrected him. But seriously, an excursion? Did you see it on a brochure at the rental car place between snorkeling and cave tours? A war is not an excursion. An excursion is apple picking, which we all know is worse than a war. And excursions, when you go whale watching in the Bahamas or when you take a boat trip to Epstein's Island, which he didn't do. I want to be clear, Trump did not go to the island. In the over 5,000 Epstein files that reference Donald Trump, not one of them said he went to the island, okay? All he did was fly on Epstein's plane 8 times and called him a terrific guy and sent him a lewd birthday card, and Epstein called him his closest friend for 10 years, and they partied together at Mar-a-Lago. Oh, God, I'm sorry, that was supposed to be redacted. Can you show the footage approved by the DOJ? There you go. Point is, the president says it's just an excursion. Previously, he said it was a war. Let's give him another shot to explain the contradiction. You've had time to work on a new answer. I'm sure you've got something new, something way better than saying it's both. Let's hear it. Take 2.
You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both.
Oh! Dude, you already said that. It didn't work. You would be the worst Wheel of Fortune contestant. Pat, I'd like to solve. The answer is self-potato. I'm sorry, Mr. President, that's incorrect, but you do get a second chance. Okay, got it. Are you ready, Pat? The answer is self-potato. I'm sorry, Mr. President, the answer was self-portrait. Well, in my case, Pat, it's both, because when I do a self-portrait, it looks like a self-potato. They say every baby looked like Winston Churchill, every potato looks like me. So Trump's answer is this is both the beginning and the end. It's both an excursion and a war. What's the status of this war/excursion that's both ending and beginning? I have to assume it's going awesome, right?
Iran is escalating its attacks on oil supplies, striking 2 tankers in Iraqi waters and forcing Iraq to shut down its oil ports.
Just last night, 2 oil tankers were hit in Iraqi waters. And earlier this morning, a container ship off the United Arab Emirates reported being struck.
New images this morning of oil tankers on fire in the Persian Gulf as Iran attacked vessels near Iraq and the Strait of Hormuz.
Oil today topped $100 a barrel, and an Iranian official said the price could eclipse $200.
Analysts say this is the worst global energy supply disruption ever.
They have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open.
Yes.
If they can't keep it open, this war will, in fact, be an American defeat before very long.
Well, this is the worst excursion I've ever been on. And when I was little, I was with my family at Busch Gardens when a hurricane hit. And when we got on the parking lot shuttle, we realized we'd left my brother behind. And my dad blamed my mom, and my mom blamed my dad. And I just told him, there's nothing you can do. He's gone. Well, then we went back and got him, but it all worked out because now he's the governor of California. So ports are closed, ships are on fire, gas prices are soaring, and even Republicans are warning the U.S. could lose the war. It all sounds really bad. I have to assume the commander-in-chief has a plan to fix this situation.
We've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. But we won.
Well, thankfully, declaring premature victory has never haunted a president before. Trump should have a banner at his next rally that says, "Excursion accomplished." Although I wouldn't necessarily trust Trump's judgment on whether the war is won or lost, since he seems less interested in a plan for the war and more interested in the name.
They gave me a list of names at general. Sir, you can pick the name you'd like, sir. I said, the name of what? The name of the attack on Iran, sir. And they gave me like 20 names. And I'm like falling asleep. I didn't like any of them. Then I see Epic Fury. I said, I like that name. I like that name. As we take decisive action to stop the threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran with Operation Epic Fury.
Well, it finally happened. The president's rallies have gone full monster truck show. It's time for Operation Epic Fury, featuring Bone Crusher, Gravedigger, and the scariest one of all, my close personal friend, Jeffrey Epstein the Truck. Also, imagine bragging that you had to read 20 names and you almost fell asleep. They were, but you know that thing when you have to read 20 names and you're so tired. I also wouldn't trust the president's judgment when it comes to timing. One of his supporters collapsed at his rally last night, and he reacted in the weirdest possible way. She later got back up and seemed totally fine, which is great, but it does make his response even more bizarre.
In an interview, you have a doctor in the house, please? Doctor? Want to play a song? Do you think the people backstage are listening to me? How about Ave Maria? Well, because is going to be okay. How about putting it in right now, Ave Maria, if they are listening? Ave Maria by Pavarotti.
That's your response. Someone needs medical attention, and your instinct is, let's get some jams going. Who's got the aux? Let's do karaoke. Also, Ave Maria is the worst choice. You don't want to play foreboding religious music when someone needs medical attention. When a person hears Ave Maria, they don't think everything's cool. They think they're dying. Did you also shine a white light in her face? Wake up, your dead mom and childhood dog are here. The Trump administration can't seem to answer the simplest questions about this war or provide a coherent explanation for why it's happening, how long it'll take, or what happens next. They can't even agree on whether high gas prices are a sacrifice or a good thing. Americans are divided, not on whether the war is a good or bad thing, but on whether it's a disaster or a cluster. And for many,
It's both.
this has been A Closer Look.